My name is Leslie Low. I'm the CEO of Lithan. We are going to have two speakers today sharing with you marketing transformation in general. I'll speak for half an hour or so about to set the backdrop in terms of how digital revolution, COVID-19 is changing, redefining the business landscape. And I'll be drilling in specifically about how marketing need to transform to stay relevant in the post-COVID and digital economy. Then Fabian will come on board to give you the tips and on how you can digital marketing, omni-marketing transformation. So clearly, digital revolution, the speed of the change has been accelerating. It took 75 years for telephone to reach 50 million users, but for Pokemon, it took only 19 days to reach the same number of users. The speed of change has accelerated primarily not because of a single technology changes, but is many technology one stack on top of another to create that speed of change. The COVID-19 certainly gives that final push for transformation to become a must rather than a nice to have. The way that we need to communicate, the way that we engage various stakeholders have changed. The norm is whether it be a sales and marketing cycle or a delivery and the support cycle, digital channel would have to be the main source of engaging the customer. So therefore, marketing would play a significant role in that new normal. No industry would be spared. It would impact every industry. For some, it would impact more than others, but across the board, including industry as physical as you get, such as construction sector, could be impacted as much as 60%. And certainly there are sectors that impact a lot more, like telecommunication, digital media, and education clearly have changed significantly. More than 80 to 85% of this industry could be massively disrupted, moderately disrupted, or somewhat disrupted by the transformation. The future workplace will be very different. Firstly, there will be a whole new set of worker, the millennial, and they would form more than 50% of the workforce. For the first time, you have 5 generations of entry into the workforce, from the baby boomer to the Gen Z, and clearly the Gen Z and the millennial work very differently. It would reshape the way of future workplace. Machine has advanced, robot will take over many of the jobs. And to be competitive, businesses would have to innovate. Therefore, innovation would rule the future workplace. Everything needs to stay agile. Everything would be on demand, not just resources, facility, financing. Many of these components would be part and parcel of an agile economy. There are many disintermediation going on. consumer is rising. Consumer now connecting directly to the manufacturer, to the product manufacturer. So, and a lot of this connection is going to be digital connection. So the future workplace would look very different, and therefore there will be change. Our Singapore government came out with the industry transformation map. In fact, there are maps for almost every sector in the industry. There are 23 of them in Singapore. Each of them would have an industry transformation map, sharing, prescribing what company need to do, not just in terms of innovation, but also in terms of productivity initiative, and more importantly, job and skills transformation within businesses to support their transformation. And digital transformation is more than just putting some technology to support the business. And it's only one of the enabler for the transformation. And a digital transformation initiative, to be done effectively, it has to be holistic. It needs to be changing the fundamental business model, the core product, and therefore the starting point needs to be how technology could be leveraged to deliver a new innovative type of business, a new innovative ways of delivering your product and services. To support that innovation, the workplace needs to be transformed. You need to put technology in your workplace, and that workplace today is a digital workplace. And it needs to be not just a pure digital workplace, an online to offline digital workplace that delivers seamless customer experience. Traditional businesses tend to build from an inside-out approach, but the digital economy requiring businesses to build their operation from an outside-in approach. So a customer you can start to engage a customer as soon as they are aware of your product, all the way to that they become your customer advocate. Clearly, a lot of this conversation has to happen digitally, and you would need very strong marketing capability to support that customer journey. Having that technology in place, creating a digital workplace, it would not be sufficient. You need an agile workforce that deliver that resource to support the scalability of your business. And agile workforce, and there will be new skill that is needed by the workforce, and there will be a new way on bringing in the team member into the workforce and the form on which how they work with you. So let me talk briefly about how you digitalize your business. This is one slide from a book called 10 Types of Innovation. The fundamental principle about this 10 type of innovation is that you could no longer compete with just one innovation. You likely need to combine combination of innovation to deliver a disruptive or a differentiated solution that the market needs. So if you look at this particular chart, there are 10 capability, or that's why they call 10 type of innovation. Firstly, center around the offering. With the right offering is not enough. You need to deliver the right experience. And to deliver the right offering and experience, you need to have a configuration as a business to deliver that in a scalable manner. Therefore, you would need to look at innovation from your product feature and functionality of your product to complementing them with additional perhaps product that make up so that you can deliver a solution, and how you are going to engage the customer. A single channel, a shop front is no longer good enough. You need that whole omni-channel engagement. And it's not only just offline, you probably need an online as well. And there are service, channel, brand, customer engagement. And again, as you can see, marketing play a very significant role in that phase of the delivery cycle, that sales cycle. And after you've created a compelling solution, combining multiple innovation, then you need to put technology at the workplace. There are technology that require across the whole organization, from implementing digital sales and marketing technology, which is the focus of our discussion today, to using technology to tech enable your operation, to support straight-through processing from awareness all the way to customer advocacy. And this engagement need to be intelligent as well. There could be needs to implement analytic tools, data science tool, AI tool, to make the engagement intelligent. And clearly, you can't work now without working in a digital workplace. A workplace that's collaborative, a workplace that's secure, a workplace that's connected. So there are many technology that will be needed. And you need to transform various parts of your businesses. One of the biggest part of the businesses got to be your sales and marketing function. So therefore, today we are going to talk about how you can holistically transform sales and marketing function, not just in terms of knowing how to leverage on digital marketing technology and practices, but also the technology that you need to augment that practices to support the engagement throughout the customer journey. And workforce need to be agile and to support rescaling of the workforce and the upscaling of the workforce. And many of the job would be combined with to create a smaller team. So in fact, sales and marketing, there's a fine line in the digital economy. Traditionally, it's a separate function, but for new future, for the new norm, many of the job has consolidated. And I'll talk a little bit about that. And there are also a need to have an agile workforce. And this agile workforce could be on demand, and it could be accessible from offshore without that physical boundary constraint that we have in the traditional economy. So Lytton have come out with a full suite of solutions to support businesses like yourself to transform. And we offer not just training, which is to accelerate your digital skill for technology professional and non-technology professional. And clearly that's going to be a part of the reskilling that is important for professional. We also involve in implementing the digital solution to support the various part of the operation, and not just in terms of training, the technology, we also augment them with just-in-time digital talent to support your transformation. So we call ourselves a super apps for digital skill and talent. And today we are going to drill into how you can gain access to this training, technology, and talent to support your transformation, your sales and marketing transformation. We have transformed ourselves as a business. Lytton was merely a traditional IT training SME 5 years ago. And our marketing, we would call it a marketing 2.0. We have a separate function between sales and marketing. I have a marketing director that takes care of delivering of the leads. After the lead has been delivered, the sales will try to convert them, which is really pretty common across most businesses, and we were no different. And the conversation that we have with the customer, other than that EDM perhaps that we send out, or an advertisement that we put in a job portal, the rest are all physical engagement, right? Again, many sales and marketing campaigns are all just trying to drive the customer to giving us the lead, register the leads. The salesperson will take it over from there. And but that's not good enough for today's customer expectation and today's predominantly digital workplace. We believe marketing 3.0 is what would be needed. And this is integrated marketing that drives exponential growth for business. To do that, sales is marketing, marketing is sales. Structurally, a marketing organization and sales organization would be an integrated organization. There's a fine line in the digital economy. When do you stop engaging the customer if you are marketing? When do you start if it's a sales? So sales and marketing is integrated, therefore allowing that engagement of the entire customer journey on real time to deliver that customer experience and the type of coverage that need to be done as businesses globalize. And more importantly is that speed. The sales cycle, having somebody interested in your product and getting back to them 3 days later on is not going to keep your lead warm. And the attention span on the new consumer is so short. And frequently, we would have leads that when we call to the customer, it sounded like they have an amnesia that didn't even know why they give you that lead and who are you. And so this is common. So the earlier, the faster that we go back to them, the better it is for us to keep that lead as an interest. So you need to have integrated sales and marketing capability that deliver with real-time interaction with the customer. To do that, there are 5 pieces of best practices and technology that would be needed to support that journey. Firstly, it needs to be multi-channel, leverage on multi-channel engagement. And you need to have omni-channel engagement. So for that customer journey, for the engagement, frequently you would be utilizing more than one channel. And this channel need to be tightly integrated. In India, Philippines, we have launched campaign that when we started looking at those markets, we were engaging using EDM, the usual, or Facebook. But today, that's no longer enough. And you need to integrate clearly the initial engagement, perhaps using messaging tool. And as the engagement intensify, you probably have to fall back into email communication, because that's the only ways of delivering massive amount of data, information for due diligence purpose. So there will be different need for different type of channel for that engagement. And the changeover between one channel to another need to be seamless. And there lies technology playing a big role in terms of that change that enable that seamlessness. Let me paint you a scenario. Somebody look at your ad, 12 o'clock midnight, they are keen to understand what you are doing. There should be a chatbot that will be able to allow them to engage the customer, hand over information, perhaps a messaging channel that is 24 by a chat channel that is 24/7. So businesses need to structure their sales organization, not just waiting for leads and have an abrupt end to that journey and get back to them in a couple of days. It's no longer acceptable. So the 5 capability that businesses need to reach is, first, multi-channel outreach, and the engagement need to be to convert with omni-channel. So content is king in that journey. Content need to be spread across the entire engagement journey, as the customer do not have the attention span to be loaded all the content in one go. So it needs to be spread out across the journey depending on the needs at each stage of the engagement. There will be many activity going on at the same time, simultaneously across the different channel, content being disseminated. Analytics is going to play a critical role to understand the efficiency and the effectiveness of that engagement. So unless you have a good analytic ability, you would not get the right return on your investment for this sales and marketing outreach. And clearly, to do it in scale, technology is essential. So our solution is to firstly scale up your sales and marketing team with all the digital marketing and digital sales capability beyond just that sales and marketing technique practices, but also process and technology to enable that omni-marketing engagement with your customer. And more than just the practices and the technology, clearly technology play a big part, from having the right web store, marketing campaign, sales and CRM technology and chatbot technology to support that journey. So the way Leighton do it is quite different from a conventional marketing agency. We believe that given the importance of sales and marketing, businesses need to scale up their resources, not just the marketing team, but also the sales team. Therefore, be able to only outsource for peripheral support and services. And we deliver our learning delivery is what we call an integrated training with implementation mentoring that enable organization not just to scale up their resources with those capability, but also deliver tangible business outcome by the end of the project. So we call that a work-based learning. And we always start with e-learning, follow with flipped class, and that would provide you the knowledge and the understanding on the tool and the concept behind digital marketing to support your campaign. But that doesn't internalize your skill. We take up a real-life project from your workplace and we apply this knowledge and concept to that real-life project with personalized mentoring by industry practitioner. So Fabian is among our industry expert mentor that would help you, providing his insight to support the execution of the project. Through that mentoring, coupled with your understanding on knowledge and concept, you will be able to complete the learning with a tangible income outcome, which is really lead and sales by the time you finish your project. So there are two things that you would get out of our integrated training and implementation mentoring program, that not just to scale you up with capability, but more importantly, deliver tangible business outcome for you. So a lot of this training and mentoring are supported, and even the acquisition of the sales and marketing technology are supported by the Singapore government with funding. So this is just a list of type of support you could get, and all the solution that we have curated, not just the training, but the technology, are supported from the various different government body. Like for training, you can get up to 90% of the cost fee. If you require a talent, a marketing talent, you can leverage on the PCP program, which is a program that the government not just to fund up to 90% of the salary of an individual, but also the cost fee as well. And for technology acquisition, there's an approved list of digital solution where you could secure up to 70% of funding, capped at $30,000. And so whatever that you need to do on your digital sales and marketing transformation, from training to talents to technology, you could essentially secure from 70 to 90% of funding for your investment, your total investment required to support your transformation. So I hope I have shared with you, giving you a backdrop in terms of the industry and what businesses need to do in terms of transforming their business. More specifically, what do you need to do in transforming marketing function so that you could stay relevant in the new economy.
If you're a business owner, then obviously everything I'm going to talk to you about right now applies to you and your business. If you are not a business owner, everything I'm going to tell you as well is very crucial because there are tremendous opportunities for you if you are willing to embrace digital entrepreneurship and digital marketing to acquire the skill sets that I'm going to be sharing with you today so that you can go out there and help business owners and work with them. And that's something that my students are doing right now. And when we say help them, we don't mean necessarily that you have to be an agency of sorts, like a digital agency. A lot of my students have been trained by me to work with business owners on a revenue share basis, right? Why revenue share? Because times are tough and upfront fees for effort is, as far as I'm concerned, as good as dead or passe. A much more effective win-win, longer-term win-win opportunity is to work together. So if the business owner has a business and you're not the business owner, then you become the digital marketer and you acquire skill sets to help the business owners lift their revenues. And if you can lift revenues, there's a saying I like to say, if there's money to be made, there's money to be shared, right? So if you can help lift revenues, then certainly you guys can work together and on a revenue share basis. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now with some of the much larger companies in Singapore where they need my help, they need my expertise, but they don't have the kind of funding, government funding or capital to pay me upfront. So what I do is I evaluate their business on a number of factors, obviously, because I'm taking the risk in terms of upfront effort, and sometimes I even hire my own students and pay them upfront. And of course, my reward is a revenue share when I help them lift the revenues itself. So let's talk about the context and very quickly, let me introduce myself. My name is Fabian Lim, and I've been doing this digital marketing stuff for quite a while. As you can see here, I have 15 years of digital marketing experience. And before this, I was with management consultancy Deloitte, where I spent 6 years there, 7 years as a Deloitte consultant. And Click Media is just one of my vehicles. I do own many other businesses as well. But the Click Media one is the particular one that focuses on the digital marketing, education, training, consultancy, profit sharing as well. All is revenue share is within this entity itself. As you can see, I typically like to work with the larger companies and no disrespect to the smaller ones, just that the larger companies have bigger problems to solve and a bigger reward if I help them solve those problems. We're talking about companies like Pet Lover Center, Five Flora. Right now, I'm working with Nature's Glory, Holistic Way, which is Jourr Life Sciences. So let's get into the meat of it all. Omni-channel. You may have heard of the term omni-channel before. What is omni-channel really, right? Omni-channel involves multi-channel marketing with a seamless customer experience. Let me just start this presentation by sharing with all of you here who are participating that I heavily suspect that none of you are practicing omni-channel marketing. And I don't say this as an insult to you. I say this as a factual statement. And of course, you can feel free to surprise me later on if you want to prove me wrong. I'm just going to start with the assumption that none of you attending today whether practitioner or business owner has executed omni-channel marketing. But I will give it to you that at best, maybe one or two of you are practicing multi-channel marketing, which is not omni-channel. And I'm going to differentiate between omni-channel and multi-channel marketing. Now, why do I say this with such a high degree of confidence? Well, I hinted to you earlier that I worked with pretty much the large top of vertical companies in Singapore. I cannot say I've worked with all of them, and I'm not referring to enterprise companies, even though I've worked with some of them. I'm talking about SMEs, which are typically below 150 million, and I've not seen a single one of them apply omni-channel marketing. At best, some of them, small handful, are delving into multi-channel. Now, so what's the difference? Well, multi-channel marketing is using different channels to go out there and acquire prospects and turn them into customers. So, for example, you could be running Facebook ads, doing some SEO, search engine optimization, running some paid ads, doing some retargeting. Now, that is multi-channel marketing, but that is not omni-channel. What's the difference? The key difference here is the seamless customer experience. And let's start by saying this, right? You cannot be executing omni-channel marketing if you don't have a system like what is known as a CRM. Why? Because looking at the slides that I'm presenting over to you here, you will see that omni-channel marketing is complex. And it's complex because the customer journey is complex. I'm going to define customer journey for you shortly as well. And it involves multi-channels, obviously, but it also involves multi-touch points. So without a real right platform and right strategy, you cannot monitor your prospect as they're going through this customer journey or funnel if there's no system at the back to be able to track their interactions with you and your brand. And therefore, that platform, which many companies do not embrace in Singapore, is known as the CRM, the Customer Relationship Management System. And we're not talking about just email marketing, for example. The example of a CRM is a tool known as Infusionsoft. For e-commerce, we use Klaviyo, which is a marketing automation platform. And the reason why a marketing automation platform is crucial, like Salesforce as well, is because this platform is going to track the prospect from the start of the journey, customer journey, all the way to purchase, post-purchase. And you will see me throw some jargons as I get along into this. So firstly, right, the good news, well, there has to be some good news. The good news is that as a business owner, if you have not started on this omni-channel journey, the good news is that majority of business owners have also not started on this journey. As a non-business owner, the good news is that it will take you between 6 to 9 months part-time for you to train to become an omni-channel marketer. And this whole bloody lockdown circuit breaker, by the time it's done with phase 3, I think it's going to take 6 to 9 months. You'll be equipped with the skill sets to go out there and help business owners, who is still surviving or manage to survive through this period of time, the next 6 to 9 months, especially the phase 3 businesses, and work with them on a revenue lift marketing initiative. So it's win-win for everybody, because as a business owner, you're not really far behind. That's the good news, because no one's really ahead of you. And as a non-business owner, there are tremendous opportunities. So to me, it's a win-win. Now, let me define very quickly customer journey. And customer journey is typically the path that comprises all interactions and touch points and both offline and online channels experienced by a customer when interacting with your brand. I mean, this is the best I could come up with in terms of customer journey. So it's a path that a prospect takes from awareness to interest to consideration to purchase. But beyond purchase is equally important. The post-purchase, the repeat sales, the advocacy, and I'm going to talk about all these things very, very shortly because it matters. Now, what is the benefit of you, the business owner, optimizing the customer journey and the non-business owner helping a business owner to optimize the customer journey? Well, you achieve much higher customer satisfaction, and these eventually leads to reduced customer acquisition costs, higher revenues, and sales. Second point, improve business processes because you're going to be looking at the entire customer journey, optimizing it, streamlining it, and it's going to result in increased efficiency, lower cost of operations, and finally, improve customer advocacy. This third point is sorely missing, ladies and gentlemen, in majority of companies, actually not just in Singapore, but all over the world. I mean, think about it as a consumer yourself. We are all consumers as well. When was the last time any company truly delighted you? I can hardly think of one, to be honest. And probably the company that has delighted me the most is Singapore Airlines, which is why I always fly with them, and Shangri-La, which is why I always stay with them for the last 15, 20 years. But other than these two amazing companies, I cannot think of a third one. Can you? If you do, please let me know. All right, it's difficult. So customer journey stages, and the customer journey stages pretty much starts with awareness. I mean, people need to be aware of your brand before they can be interested in your brand. And of course, those who are aware and have an affinity with your brand will start having some interest. At some point in time, they have a need, and that's where the consideration comes in, followed by eventually a purchase. They become a customer. But you see, you don't want a journey to stop there. You want a journey to continue. And what this slide is showing you is that after the money, there is a interesting expansion of this otherwise contracting cone, which is called the funnel, by the way. And I'll tell you why this is a problem if you have this mindset of a funnel, because it gets narrower and narrower. But there's a ray of hope here in that it expands out again. Now, how does it expand out? I'm going to explain to you very shortly. And this is where the real money is. From a customer journey, the digital entrepreneur, the digital expert can now work with the business owner to map what is known as a customer journey map to illustrate the entire experience from awareness to post-purchase and do an audit as to which areas are weak and need help and which areas they are doing good at. Now, what's interesting here is that, and I appreciate the words here a little bit small, so I'm just going to tell you what these slides are saying. This is a survey by Adobe in 2018, and the slides here and here effectively mention two things. Number one, that the greatest opportunity for companies is in exploring omni-channel marketing. And number two, they see the greatest opportunity in their respective industries in the area of delighting customer through increasing or improving customer experience. I know that can probably catch many of you by surprise. It's like, what? Customer experience? I mean, I'm not supposed to be doing more marketing, more selling, reducing price, being more aggressive in selling? Well, not really. Customer experience has been known to be a huge revenue lift. And remember that customer experience is related to the customer journey because the customer journey is a path comprising every single interaction, starting with the first interaction all the way down to the last interaction. Every experience summates to become customer experience itself. Now, before we even continue, I think it's important that whether, again, you're a business owner or non-business owner, because there are really two sides of this opportunity, it is my duty to share with you my personal findings after having been involved with digital entrepreneurship, working with the largest clients, and I call it the universal success formula. And the universal success formula is this. A lot of people think that I need to do more marketing. I need to put more marketing budget, or I need to reduce costs, reduce acquisition costs, or generate more leads. And a lot of people, a lot of consultants emphasize on this type of aspects. I wouldn't say they're wrong, but I will tell you that they don't have the complete picture. Because if you think about this, your decision to delight a customer, to create a positive customer experience comes with the right mindset. Because only when you have the right mindset as a business owner, by the way, or even as a non-business owner, as a digital practitioner like me, helping business owners, there are many things that we can do. There are many things that we can advise. And again, if our goal is profit maximization, to make as much money to rip off the customer, usually it will be detrimental, obviously, because one side wins and one side loses in that sense. So both sides must come together with the right mindset, and the business owner needs to also participate in this to have the right, firstly, the right attitude towards why are we even doing this? How can I transform my organization for growth? Let me tell you, right? Revenue lift is one thing, and I've helped businesses revenue lift. But revenue lift is not just about running more ads, doing more marketing. Your system has to be in place. Your people have to be embraced as well. If not, if the people lag behind, for example, you will see that your customer experience start to decline because your staff cannot cope with, for example, an influx of online orders. So to me, as a practitioner, both on the helping side and the receiving side as a business owner, mindset is 70%. Ladies and gentlemen, what it means is if you don't adopt the right mindset in terms of how you treat customers, how you treat staff, how you treat the ecosystem, and your mindset towards your business growth, everything else is going to be superficial. And, as sad as COVID-19 is, it's known as a global reset. It forces all of us, right? Even me as a business owner, to reflect upon what I'm doing. And if I survive COVID-19, because I'm also phase 3, 6 to 9 months' time, it requires an almost overhaul of my thinking, of embracing the new normal, and having the skill set to climb myself out of the hole if I get to that big, deep hole in 9 months' time. The other 30% is system, right? So it's having the right platform, like in omni-channel marketing, having investing in the right CRM, because without the right CRM, you're not able to collect data, you're not able to process data, and you're not able to, again, create a delightful customer experience because you don't have the information that you need to delight your customer itself. And of course, it's all about implementation. And of course, again, right, it is so tempting to want to just, come on, let's talk about Facebook ads right now. Let's go and do it. Fabian, how can I improve my acquisition? Well, let's take a few steps back. We have, those of us in phase 3, we have 6 months to figure things out. Chill. So what I want to share with you right now is more important than all the Facebook ad strategy that you can ever execute. I'm going to share with you 2 concepts that I swear by, that cost me a couple of $1 million in very expensive business mistakes. Let's call it a business mistake, a business lesson. Number one, I want you to stare at these 2 acronyms, CAC and LTV. This is not my business equation. It is used by every single startup. It is a metric demanded of every VC who's going to invest in a startup. The first question they're going to ask you, if not how are you doing and who you are, eventually, they're going to ask you what is your unit economic. So the unit economic is the incremental revenues generated by an incremental unit, which is the customer itself. So when your unit economics is positive, what we are telling the VCs, essentially, and our investors, is that for every person I bring, every customer I bring on board, I make $5. Now, this is after subtracting costs, which is why it's a net unit economics. Now, obviously, it doesn't take a genius to know that in many of the large companies, the startups particularly, I'm sure you know Uber, Grab, Gojek, probably Foodpanda, Deliveroo, Honestbee, you have WeWork, even the larger ones. None of them are profitable. So that means that all of them are experiencing negative unit economics, which means the cost of acquisition and maintaining that customer costs far more than the incremental profits that they generate. And that's why startup game is not for everybody. I found that out as well. So my point is very simple. This equation forces you to focus on 2 things, right? On the left-hand side, reducing cost of acquisition. So as a startup, you don't want to spend fanciful money on radio or television or putting your brand on a billboard because it's going to cost you a lot of money, for example. You don't be splattering your brand across newspapers. You know, leverage things like Facebook ads and going on a app install campaign within Facebook ads, doing some retargeting so that you can tailor your offering, your product to the right market, to segmentation, to audience targeting. But you see, here's the thing. There's only so much you can do to optimize costs. And unfortunately, far too many business owners focus on optimizing costs. Like in COVID-19, I'm sure we all need to optimize costs. But there's only so much you can do to optimize costs. I mean, how low can rent go in Singapore? How low can labor be in Singapore? A far more effective approach. And so listen up, my friends, right? Whether you're a business owner or not. increasing LTV, which is the other part of the equation, is going to be far more helpful from a long-term perspective. What I'm saying here is that, yes, of course, optimize as much cost as you can, trim as much fat as you can, but the real skill in taking a business to the next level is growing lifetime value profits. Now, by definition, therefore, we need to make the assumption that our customer, for us to define a customer as someone who is profitable, is a customer that typically is going to purchase more than once from us. Because if not, then you wouldn't be using the term lifetime value. So now it becomes useful for me to share with you the 3 stages in general where the skill set comes in. Number 1, you need to have the skill, or you need to work with someone with the skill to be able to attract qualified prospects, targeted prospects, prospects who can afford your products and services. Attraction is not enough. There's a separate skill known as converting them into customers. So, some business owners, digital agencies are good at attracting. They're not so good at converting. It's a fairly different skill set, because conversion, it's not just campaigns, it's not just running ads, it's understanding the psychology, basic psychology, buying behavior, why people buy, emotional appeal, so on and so forth. Now, if you look at a lot of ads going on today, whether on YouTube, on Facebook, and all these gurus out there telling you how to attract and convert, you will see that all of them, almost without fail, miss out the last and most important part of the equation, and that is retention. I've yet to see one single ad talking about customer retention. Why? Why does everybody treat the business today as hit and run? You just want to make the money, convert them into your customers, bank all your dollars. All these young punks as gurus out there, 21 years old, 22 years old, teaching you how to suck eggs, teaching me how to suck eggs. Friends, these people have not had the experience to build phenomenal, sustainable business, because if they did, they would realize that retention is the key to achieving phenomenal growth. As I've already said, I'm a 15-year customer, 18-year, 20-year customer of Singapore Airlines and Shangri-La as well. Lifetime value is what you need to go for, my friends. Now, so what is the old funnel and what is the new funnel? This, which is what we are used to seeing, I've seen this before, awareness, interest, consideration, conversion, is known as the outdated traditional funnel. Why? Because for years, we accepted this funnel as the truth, that it takes 100 people to be aware, and then 60 to have interest, 25 to consider, and 5 to buy. We accepted this as conventional wisdom, and this made us lose our foresight in retention. Because if you had retention strategies, your funnel should look like this, where it thins down when you take a prospect from awareness all the way to purchase. But post-purchase, if you're really good at post-purchase, making the same customer buy much more from you because they're delighted, and by the way, getting them to refer their friends, that's called advocacy, by the way. If you take repeat sales and advocacy, you will realize that the primary ingredient for repeat sales and advocacy is what? CX, customer experience. An unhappy customer will not buy from you. An unhappy customer will not tell their friends about you positively and certainly won't recommend you to their friends. So it all goes back down to the customer experience score that customers are giving you without necessarily telling you. So you have to, my friends, post-COVID, if you survive post-COVID, if I survive post-COVID, we have to focus on not just getting customers. Growing customers is more crucial. Whether you're F&B, whether you're retail, whether you're B2B or B2C, does not matter because these are all universal laws. Then there's digital transformation. And digital transformation, you may be wondering, what is it all about? Well, it's an area that leverages technology to both drive revenues and achieve operational excellence. And we've identified 8 levers to digital transformation. I'm going to go through these things because we really don't have time. But digital transformation roadmap serves as a blueprint to help businesses. And of course, the larger the business, the more they gain from this, because just like any other consulting framework, and this is one of those, it allows the framework to put everybody in the organization at the right footing, to focus on 2 things over here. One is to drive revenues through various activities and achieve operational excellence through systems and processes. So for each of these levers, it allows us to break these broad levers into, goals and objectives, and translate goals and objectives into specific tasks and subtasks. And again, I can tell you for sure that very, very few companies are embarking on digital transformation at this point in time. Usually the larger ones, the enterprises, the Citibanks of the world have no choice but to embrace digital transformation because their organization size requires them, and being a market leader and thought leader requires them to embark on this exercise. But again, most SMEs are too busy being busy to want to even look at these things. But I'm just telling you to not have a blind eye on such areas because these things are also important, even to small businesses. Then let me talk to you about the omni-channel part of the whole equation. It kind of looks like this. As you can see, very complicating, very fragmented. And each channel out there behaves and works very differently. So much so that it is a huge deterrent for businesses to want to embark on this thing because they'll start to ask themselves, where do I start? My goodness. Should I just run Facebook ads? So a lot of these business owners are missing the mark because at the end of the day, it's not just Facebook ads. Even though I'm sure you see a lot of Facebook ads about running Facebook ads to grow your business. That is just one component, one speck in the entire ecosystem. So let me help you out by sharing with you a couple of traffic channels that you're always looking at, measuring for growth. Obviously, direct is when people key in your URL. I'm assuming you have a website, obviously. So all these branding exercise, PR, public relations, and so on and so forth, serves to increase direct traffic. And direct traffic is powerful, right? Because it's your traffic. Your competitor doesn't stand a chance. They cannot hijack you. The next important traffic, by the way, is also email. Email marketing is so important. And again, what are so important are generally what SMEs are weak in. I mean, for example, look at COVID-19 and how every F&B had to scramble to offer online delivery. Majority of them, 99%, didn't have any system. They're using WhatsApp. And the amount of pain they have to go through. I mean, to calculate delivery cost alone, you have to make the customer figure out, right? Where do you stay? Which zone are you in? Are you in Ang Mo Kio or Bedok or Jurong or Tuas? And then look at a table and calculate your own pricing. And imagine how much more time that the F&B practitioner who should be busy in the kitchen churning out meals will have to spend on customer service. How many WhatsApp back and forth to secure an $8 order, for example? Not efficient at all. So systems are important. The rest of the channels are also equally important. I mean, really, right? I can tell you, a lot of SME business owners, their knowledge in these areas are very, very, very superficial. Whether it's Facebook ads, SEO, paid advertising, LinkedIn, Instagram, programmatic, which doesn't even exist in the SME vocabulary. We're talking about Google Display Ad Networks, content networks, Outbrain, Taboola. These are even more foreign for SMEs. Let me help you today to narrow down the top 5 in terms of importance of actionable channels. Number 1 is certainly going to be email. And therefore, my point about the F&B scrambling is that for years, they considered it not necessary to collect name cards of customers, to acquire emails, because they say, I'm retail. Why do I need to do these things? I just need to be open, have good food. People come. Well, they come until they can't come. Then what happens next? Whereas if an F&B had been diligent all these years, acquiring customer data, at least in the form of email and phone number, they can at least send an email out and say, hey, friends, during this COVID time, we're offering delivery. As a customer, here's a 5% discount. I'm going to tell you, if an F&B had these things, it would be business as usual. No, too busy being busy. They don't think it's their responsibility. They don't think it's a need. And right now, everyone is scrambling. I hate to tell you this, I have so many friends in F&B, my own personal friends, who are just too busy being busy pre-COVID, that they're being busy right now saving their own F&B. And it's sad because every time I talk to them about these things, not interested, no time, too mafan, no one to manage this whole process, and so on and so forth. All the excuses. Friends, email is the lifeblood of any business out there, particularly as long as you are B2B, which is 90% of businesses, 80% of businesses. Even B2C need customer and customer data as well. Now, if you're B2C, then of course, Facebook marketing comes into play. But what if you're not B2C? Well, then you can still use Facebook marketing, but from a more sophisticated standpoint of doing retargeting. I know it's jargon. SEO, search engine optimization, as a skill set from a practitioner standpoint, and as a business owner, should be in your basic books. The moment you build a website, the website should have been optimized from day one. Because if not, your website becomes invisible and you have to spend a lot of money on branding to get direct traffic. With SEO, search engine optimization, people who are looking for your product and service finds you in the search engines without you having to pay a single cent in traffic costs. So to me, among the highest ROI is SEO and email marketing. But guess what? These two areas are typically fed very badly and poorly for most businesses. So if you haven't started, the good news is that you're not really far behind, because those who have started are not even doing it that properly. That's the good news. Google search, display, content network, again, jargon up at this point, but these are necessary channels. If, for example, you could be B2C, but you are a luxury brand. Now, if you're a luxury brand, how are you going to use Facebook ads? I mean, there are not that many wealthy people on Facebook. That's the truth. The millionaires don't have time to hang out on Facebook or Instagram. It's the wannabes that are on Facebook and Instagram. So if you're a luxury brand, you're a watchmaker, you're even Rolls Royce, you're Lamborghini, you're a premium brand, you want to offer private cruise, private jets, forget about Facebook ads. You need to be looking at Google display networks, content networks, and do a whole lot of retargeting, because finding your prospect is a needle in a haystack. So I did mention this term called remarketing, or retargeting is the same thing. It's simply saying that it's far cheaper to retarget an interested prospect who didn't respond than to start cold right at awareness stage. Why? Because it takes a lot of money, effort, and resources to take a prospect from awareness, interest, consideration, and many get stuck at consideration because they continue considering. But if you don't retarget them, you cannot push them towards purchase. Similarly, those who are aware, some will be interested, many would not. If you don't do retargeting, you're losing the opportunity to take someone from awareness into being interested, and from interested to be considered, and from considered to be purchased. And this is where retargeting strategies come in, because retargeting, as the name implies, is deliberate targeting you again, which is why it's called retargeting. And therefore, this strategy is important. You need to have budget, allocate 30% of your budget to retargeting rather than 100% to acquisition, for example. And of course, you need to have the knowledge and know-how to go about executing a successful retargeting strategy. There's a few more slides. This is important in the context of making us understand that the old paradigm was marketing, which is collaterals, your brochures, your information, your videos. In the olden days, a lot of selling, right? A lot of face-to-face selling, a lot of hardcore persuasion. You need to be skilled as a salesperson to close a deal. Today, everything's different, my friend. Today, there's the internet, there is Google, and it's not rocket science for someone to do their own research, which is marketing, by the way. They go to YouTube, they go to Google, they find out what they're looking for, they make up their own mind. You don't have to be there to persuade them. So the best companies understand this and put out all these relevant digital assets. How? Well, omni-channel style. Remember multi-touch points, knowing what is needed as an asset at the awareness phase, what kind of videos, brand videos, what kind of asset information required at the interest, at the consideration, and what do they need to convert them from consideration down to purchase. So you have a lot of resources at your disposal, not just Facebook ads. But unfortunately, isn't it that so many business owners, practitioners, all prescribe business Facebook ad as if that is the universal solution to everybody's worry. Just run a Facebook ad, build a funnel. Run a Facebook ad, build a funnel. Not so simple, my friend. Not so straightforward. So they're showing you two kind of funnels. The first one here is a lead gen funnel. So in the lead gen funnel, we basically employ omni-channel marketing with the right data collection, lead someone from awareness down to interest, and for interest to consideration. We use platforms like chatbot. I think Leslie just mentioned about chatbot. In fact, I'm running a lot of chatbot marketing right now. with some of my partners and clients. Extremely effective because it's conversational. And before the chatbot came out, things were all one way, right? You have a website, it's one way. They come to your website, one way. If you don't have live chat, it's all one-way marketing. Whereas a chatbot is far more conversational, with an option, with a choice, with a logic flow as well. And the conversions have been amazing. E-commerce, even more complicating because you are talking about leading people all the way down to purchasing, and a purchase requires a lot of information: name, email address, phone number, physical address, credit card information. I mean, this is as intimate as you get to a online stranger, right? With all this information to provide to you. So guess what, right? I mean, they must want to purchase your product, to want to disclose all this information to you, all this intimate, very personal information. So please do not treat e-commerce lightly. It's not about how great your product is. It's a fundamental question. Do they even trust you? Who are you? Why should I risk my credit card information, my personal information on your website? Really, who are you? What is your brand? How do I know you won't scam me? How do I know I can trust you, my credit card information? People don't understand these things, my friend. We have fundamental trust issues because obviously there are illegitimate scams going on out there. And the business owner think, no, let's lower the price, lower the price, people buy more. Is it that simple, my friends? It's not just about price. In fact, it's not about price at all. If it was about price, the LVs and the Pradas of the world, wouldn't have survived. Clearly, it's not about price. It's not just about price value. The fundamental attribute you need to harness and hone over time is trust. TRUST. Trust and customer experience comes hand in hand, by the way. A customer cannot truly have an awesome experience if they don't trust you. So let me just share with you and end with a few things for you to think about: critical success factors. And I've listed 5 of them, and they're all relevant today still. Number 1, is your business a fad or a need? For example, I always maintain that bubble tea is a fad. Of course, the young people think it's a need, and they will think whatever they want to think regardless of what it is. It's a fad. It's going to come, it's going to go, just like everything else that came and went, from apple strudels to roti boys and yogurts of the world and everything. Basically, you need to take a long-term view of a business. And the litmus test really is the percentage of customers that purchase again. And I understand there are products which have huge long life cycles, like property. You don't buy a property every year, for example. And I hope that you didn't go out there to buy a lot of property before COVID. But it applies, right? Whether you are in the property business, selling properties or selling cars even, there's no reason why a customer wouldn't come back to you for the second property or for the second car, except that you didn't delight them, and therefore they would rather give the business to someone else. And the threat of competition, my friends, a high percentage of business failure is due to business owners being blind towards understanding their competitors. Because let me tell you this, right? The only people that have the capability to put you out of business is not the government, it's not the customer, it is your competitor. Because your competitor, if they outmaneuver you, it is game over. So doesn't it make sense to find out anything and everything about your competition and the degree of threat that they possess. The third part, automation, partial and full, and this is where digital transformation comes in. We're not talking about running Facebook ads. We're talking about using cloud solutions for accounting, for HR, for most of your functional processes. Everything's cloud today already. Your data is all in the cloud. Are you still messing around with paper, invoices, pro forma stuff? Scalability. Does your business, does your industry have the ability to regionalize? Does it have the ability to globalize? Or can you expand sideways? Can you acquire upstream or downstream for more cost efficiency and operational efficiency? And of course, finally, customer lifetime value. That's where your revenues are, right? Your revenues is the lifeblood of your business. And you have to strive. You absolutely need to strive for positive unit economics. And if you don't do that, you won't have a business. Neither would I. Next steps. Here are some things for you to think about. You need to start acquiring the right platform. The good news is that the one that I showed you, Infusionsoft and a few others, as CRMs, they are full government grants that are available. You just need to speak to Lytton or speak to me. We can guide you in the right direction. Acquisition obviously is important. Remember, ACR, you need to have proper acquisition, conversion, retention. And these three areas are all very, very different. I'm going to warn you first. Yeah? But you need to look into all these three areas, my friends. You cannot afford just to focus on acquisition and conversion and not worry about retention. Conversely, some of you may be tempted to just focus on retention without acquisition. It doesn't work this way. It has to be, they're all equally weighted. You need to learn how to attract, how to convert, and how to retain. In this 1, 2, 3 order, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And it's all about tracking, measuring outcome, refining, and optimization. Hate to use all these bombastic words, but what else is there, right? Your product ain't going to change. McDonald's hardly changed their menu for the last 20, 25 years. Neither did KFC. They're still around today. But they did all these things. They re-looked into their acquisition strategy, conversion strategy, and retention strategy for sure. This is my contact information, and I have some questions that are being pushed to me already because I think the speaker is not working, and I will be happy to answer this thing shortly. Since my contact information is here, I'm not necessarily inviting you to, well, firstly, please don't share my contact information. It's not supposed to be in these slides. I should have taken it out. I apologize. But, um, email me if you have to first, because this is my personal mobile number, which I should not have left it here. But of course, if you really need something private and urgent and you want to WhatsApp me, please at least identify yourself and say that, you came from the Lytton session so that you don't scare me as some kind of spammer, right? Now, before I answer all these questions, let me settle a solution, which I think is important, again, whether you're a business owner or you're not, because there's a reason why I'm partnering with Lytton Academy, and I'm partnering with Lytton Academy for this program, which I'm going to very quickly explain to you. No hard selling at all. It is basically digital marketing education, which is where I'm working as an adjunct fellow with Little Academy. And I train both business owners and non-business owners in pretty much 50-50 proportion because both sides need the skill sets. And what it is, in fact, in my upcoming intakes, and this is the first intake that I'm launching, actually is a full 6 module. So priority is given to those students, whether you're a business owner or not, who are ready and prepared to walk with me to become a full-fledged, to become omni-channel competent. And it will take 6 modules, 9 months, part-time, very, very good funding from the government. But the good news is that you also walk away if you pass all 6 module assessment. You do get to earn yourself a professional diploma in digital marketing implementation. And you know, I'm probably the foremost. Not trying to be too humble here, unfortunately. I'm probably the foremost digital practitioner in Singapore. Some say JB in Batam as well. That is fully experienced in omni-channel marketing. And I'm probably the only trainer, I think, in Singapore, Malaysia, JB, Batam as well, that handholds the student all the way through all 6 modules. I mean, like, when you go to university, you have different lecturers for different specialty. Well, you have me for all 6 modules. I'm going to share with you what the 6 modules are, but it should be testimony to you, good testimony to you that I know my stuff because I've been doing this for a very, very long time. I'm not smart. I'm not intelligent. I've just been doing this for a very, very, very long time. So the goal is to impart to you, whether business owner or learner, real world strategies. And this is my differentiation and my hallmark in this area and this field. Okay? If you want to know more about me, my background, what I've done, my accomplishments, please go to my website, fabianlim.com. You can contact me using the website as well. There's a web form. But please learn more about me as much as I want to learn more about you as well. So the hallmark of this training is real world strategies. Now, obviously, there's some academia that we need to clear as well. This is grade A. This is like the Mao Sang Wang of education, digital education. It has the highest funding ever. But of course, with the funding and the high level of training does require you to demonstrate competency, and we'll talk about that as well. So the idea is to impart to you real world skill set that as a business owner, you can immediately implement the strategies. You don't have to wait until you complete all 6 modules. Every module, there will be a to-do for you to firstly articulate and demonstrate competency. And number 2, leverage the skill set I'm going to be sharing with you to implement it in your own business. Now, the 6 modules from a skill set perspective are as follows. Module 1 is called Basic Digital Marketing, and it covers Google search ads. Module 2 is Facebook advertising, which is social media. Module 3 specifically is SEO. Module 4, email marketing and content. Module 5 is advanced digital marketing, which focuses on analytics. And module 6 is capstone. What is capstone? I explain to you here. Capstone is taking the knowledge I've gained in the first 5 modules and applying it in real world scenario. So if you're a business owner, capstone is leveraging all 6 modules and applying it in your business. If you're the learner, then you want to go and find a business owner and volunteer to demonstrate and leverage your skill set, your newly found skill set for that business and measure outcome. Now, the cost structure very quickly, each module, because I did say 6 modules, 9 months, is going to be approximately 5 weeks per module, part-time. And typically how I like to do it, and it's perfect right now with our COVID schedule, in fact, is 2 days of intensive core training, typically Saturday, Sunday, because we're going to assume that some of you are going to go back to work. So you're only free on Saturday and Sunday for full days without you having to take leave. But other than the 2-day core training, everything else will be weekday evenings. So after work, we tune in, something like this, webinar format, and you're going to be doing online learning until, of course, phase 3 is lifted. We're looking at about 60.5 hours per module, and you'll be handheld by myself and my mentors. My mentors are basically graduates who are coming back to guide you because they've been through it before, and their goal is to help you pass your assessment. Pricing, as mentioned, this is the premier training. You have to be a fairly well-regarded private institution like Lytton, or an IHL, Institute of Higher Learning like NTU, NUS, or Polytechnic, to receive this type of high level funding. This is a Cat A, Cat B funding. So each module is $3,000 because it's 60.5 hours. There's a lot of rigor to it. And that's why this is not for people who are not serious. Let's be very honest with you. The good news is that you can get up to 90% funding. And if you're WTS, which means you are low income, under $24,000 a year in declared income, you can even push the funding up to 95%. So plus GST, we're looking at $510 per module, which is really nothing, considering that all of us will get a Skills Future credit top up in April. And if you are WTS, it's $360 per module, right? So I don't think it's a cost issue. I think it's more of a time and commitment issue that you have to think about, because the government is really helping clearly over here. And Lytton is the best people to talk to for you to indicate your interest. Later on, they're going to ask you. So again, no hard pushing or anything else. Just sharing with you that, in my opinion, now is as good as a time for all of you to consider upskilling yourself. Because, look here, right? COVID-19 will take a good 6 to 9 months to clean up, rather than you sit at home. If you're less fortunate, or if you're fortunate, you get to reopen with much less foot traffic. Why don't you invest the next 6 to 9 months with me? Allow me to personally handhold you, so that when this whole thing goes away, you now have the skill set to take your business, or to take a business owner's business to the next level. The timing will work out perfectly. And we've obviously been given 100% approval to conduct all the training until phase 3 is lifted online. So it's convenient. There's full recording for you to review stuff. And, it's really a good program. I must tell you this, obviously, because I'm the one conducting, right? What they expect. So I'm done with the presentation. Let me answer some questions. And if you have a question, please submit your question. The moderators will take it and send it to me.
Okay, let me try out the questions. Okay,
the first
so
question is, what digital marketing channels are a good platform in Singapore to get maximum brand awareness? Now, I'm going to give you honest answers, my friend. I hope you really appreciate honest answer. Friends, don't waste your money on just brand awareness. I understand you want your brand to be out there. If you're not having campaigns and strategy to take them all the way to customer, remember, go back to our fundamental business equation is CAC. You'll be spending money up front to acquire. Now, if you're not going to take them all the way to conversion, and retention, you're not going to grow your much needed LTV. And if you don't grow your LTV, my friend, you will go out of business. Simple, right? Because you incur CAC, you incur costs, and now you are going to do your best to incur accrue LTV to a point where you're going to break even at the unit level, and you obviously want to exceed. When you are at the level where you're ready to exceed, then you're ready to scale your business. So please, my friends, times are bad enough. We don't need exposure, we need revenues. But having said that, let me answer the question, right? It's not so simple because it really depends on fundamentally, are you B2B or B2C? Let's take both equation at hand. If you're B2C, business to consumer, now obviously you want to have Facebook ads as part of your arsenal. In fact, if you talk about maximum firepower, bang for the buck, if you're B2C, definitely Facebook advertising because it's fairly low cost for the initial awareness and reach. But of course, as I said, if you just do that, it's going to be a waste of your money. Please have retargeting strategies, retargeting campaigns, have different assets in preparation to lead them and have a funnel to guide them all the way to your first purchase. And after that, to your second purchase and third purchase. But channel-wise, definitely you need to have Facebook ads as your primary asset. Remember, Facebook advertising is paid advertising. Now, what if you have very little money then? If you have very little money, you have no choice. You have to focus and bet on search engine optimization if you are B2C or B2B, because SEO is free traffic in the sense that the visitors that come from SEO, you don't have to pay Google a single cent. So it means please review your website structure, your website architecture, and your website positioning and outlook from an SEO best practice approach. SEO is also totally crucial, especially if you are B2B, business to business, because you don't have the luxury of primary acquisition using Facebook ads. You can do secondary retargeting on Facebook ads, which means targeting people who visited your website. And if they are a Facebook user, you can now retarget them on Facebook. But Facebook is unlikely to be your primary channel if you're B2B. In fact, it will have to be LinkedIn, but LinkedIn itself can be difficult because the whole LinkedIn behavior of the people there is just, in my opinion, really, really warped. Because I do not know, maybe because the LinkedIn platform is very stifling and suffocating because next to the name is the job title. So if you're, if you're VP, it's not cool for you to like a post, it's not cool for you to comment. So the environment never really caught on, which is why LinkedIn as an organization never really caught on. But you still need to know how to do outreach in LinkedIn because, well, LinkedIn is a very well documented and segmented channel. If you're looking for example, HR practitioners, it's just a stone throw away to identify these people and for you to do outreach. So that's my answer to you. Second question. Come on. What is the best strategy to establish a new food brand in Singapore? Wow. Let me confess, right? And this is independent decision I made pre-COVID, in fact. And of course, I have the proof because all these business plans were in December. So in fact, in November and December, I already grouped some of my experienced F&B friends and say, you know what, let me work with you. We do a profit sharing, revenue share to take your business online. I'm not kidding you, right? To take your F&B online. And I want to revenue share with you only on the online delivery portion. And That's what I did, right? So how we did it is, rather than I take a share of the offline of the, of the rental and all these things, which I didn't want to do, I say, let me extend your business revenues to online, focusing on delivery, and we do revenue share. I can drop you one name for sure, just to prove I'm not lying to you. I'm working with Chen Fuji, and our website is chenfuji.com.sg. So Chen Fuji is a local brand known for their imperial fried rice, but I'm working with them on their crab. So their chili crab, pepper crab, unami crab, and so on and so forth, to offer home delivery, right? On fairly affordable crab dishes. And of course, you can go to our website and take a look at that, because I put it together. And unlike the guys who are doing WhatsApp and all these things, it is fully automated, right? No WhatsApp to me, please. You just, all the information is there, everything you need. If it's out of stock, you will see it there. We program in your location. We know where we are, which is in Toa Payoh, or where the central kitchen is. Wherever you are in Singapore, except all the prohibited area, we also deliver to Sentosa, by the way. I've already computed your postal code. So how much your delivery costs depends on where you stay, and you key in your postal code, we'll tell you how much it costs. We have 6 different zone pricing. Everything's automated. Okay. And once you make an order, the chef receives your order and they will plan to deliver to you like magic. But the question here, of course, is the best strategy to establish a food brand in Singapore. If you ask me, I would use Facebook ads, which I am using Facebook ads. I would offer a coupon as a loss leader. So if you can afford it, we call it the BOGO offer, buy one, get one free, but that may be too costly. So you offer 25% off for the first order. I mean, if you're new, you need customers, you should have 25% margin, because the food delivery guys will take 30%, right? So you have to incentivize new users, number one. So you attract people by giving them a good promo on Facebook, but I won't lead them to my website because it's too one way. I will engage them using my chatbot. So I will use a chatbot. I'll do some basic chatbot marketing, chatbot programming. Like, hey, would you like a coupon code? Please give me your email address and I'll send you the coupon code itself. So I give them a coupon code, I take their email address, and I use email to remind them to utilize my coupon code itself. So I'm covering the attracting using Facebook ads, converting them on my chatbot. Hopefully they come and buy. Of course, if they don't really buy, there's nothing much you can do. But if they buy, then take the opportunity to get feedback from them, which is automated, and get them to refer their friends, which is advocacy, which is also automated. And we track today on our marketing automation platform, we track email by user, by products purchase, and by lifetime revenues. These are standard metrics today that we are doing, so that we can now learn to segment our customers, gold, silver, bronze, VIP, based on spend, and roll out eventually a loyalty or membership program to focus on retention itself. So let me answer some of these other questions that I have here. And of course, if you really have to go for your lunch or whatever, please go ahead. I have a question here. Can you elaborate more on the difference between multi-channel versus omni-channel? Yeah, sure I can, right? So again, most people when they put their hat on to look at acquisition are thinking at best multi-channel. So, okay, let me run Facebook ads, let me do some SEO, let me run some paid ads, paid search ads, and do this and do that. When you are very task-driven, you are doing multi-channel marketing, or you're marketing using multiple channels. Omni-channel is multi-channel, so you must be marketing on multi-channel, but with a focus on the customer experience. And again, let me say this again, right? You cannot monitor customer experience without the CRM. So very simple, right? You can do all your elaborate marketing without the CRM. You just cannot go to omni-channel because you wouldn't know when someone visited your website, when he clicked to download your ebook, when he made an order, when he added a product to cart and then he abandoned. You do not know the stage at which he is in because you don't have the CRM. Without the CRM, you cannot execute pure omni-channel strategy. Without omni-channel, you cannot delight him with a seamless customer experience, and it's incredibly difficult, therefore, to execute any lifetime value strategies like advocacy and loyalty. So they are all interlinked in that sense. Can you share what companies I've supported through this training and what you have done with them? Well, I have, as I said, the generally the companies I work with tend to be the larger ones, and some of them send their staff to training. Not all of them do, but the people that I train, rightfully so, are also a larger proportion of the SMEs, right? The business owners themselves who come and learn and apply their technique. But yeah, sure, I can share with you real life case studies. I've been working with Jourr Life Sciences. They own this brand called Holistic Way. They're one of the top 3 largest health supplement companies in Singapore. In fact, their Holistic Way brand and Jourr Life Sciences brand are in fact, I would say 100 different retail outlets, which is their distribution channel. Guardian, Watsons, Unity, NTUC, you name it, their brands are all there. You can go and check them out actually. So they are a large top of vertical company, but it's only last year when I engaged them and shared with them the importance of collecting data, having omni-channel, because one of the things is when you use retail strategy as a sales channel, you don't benefit by obtaining data. So the data, for example, if someone buy from NTUC, the data is held at NTUC level because NTUC has their membership, right? They don't give you the email address because that's the reason why all the big brands are so powerful today because they have the data, right? Same thing with all the food delivery companies, same thing with Lazada and Redmart and everybody else. They're all after your data because data is king, essentially. So anyway, long story short, I convinced GL Life Science to start focusing on their own website. They have their own e-store, glifesciences.com. But their sales were not doing well because their channel is retail. And online, they are heavily leveraging Q10, for example, Lazada and all these places. I said, this is good for sales, bad for you in the long term because you don't have data, right? So long story short, I've trained their staff, their key marketing staff and the owner as well, the new owner, which is the daughter, across so far right now across 4 modules already. And I told them, right, come and learn because at least number one, you won't get fooled by the agencies, which they have been previously. And number two, it makes it easier for me to explain to you what I'm going to help you do. If not, it becomes like chicken talking to egg because they don't appreciate because they don't understand, right? So it's important that the training is not just about necessarily you executing. You may not have the time to execute, but you understand. And I know I want to say this to all of you here. If you're a business owner, your role is CRO, Chief Revenue Officer. Take away that business owner, that entrepreneur title, it means nothing, my friend. I'm also an entrepreneur. It means nothing. The way I look at businesses, whether my own or I'm helping someone like GR Life Sciences, I'm their CRO, their Chief Revenue Officer. My responsibility, I have only one responsibility in every company that I'm involved in, right? The responsibility is revenue lift. Nothing else matters, my friend. You know, you can't go to your bank and bank in 100,000 likes. It doesn't make any sense at all. Neither can you bank in traffic. These are all vanity. The only thing that matters, my friend, in terms of survival in the future is revenue. So if you're a learner, you're not a business owner, you want to come and learn from me omni-channel marketing skills, what are you trying to become? You will become a CRO as well, Chief Revenue Officer. It's the most powerful skill, it's the most important skill pre-COVID and post-COVID. That's the new currency, my friends. Next, what is the difference between setting up an e-commerce using Wix, Shopify versus just selling on Amazon? Huge difference. For one, now that you have been following data, right? Amazon as well does not give you email. Figure out why, right? Who's the one making all the money? Amazon. They also take 20 to 30% from you as fees. Yes, they have 300 million customers. They have FBA as well, but there's a fee for every single thing, my friend. It's not free money. They're not working for you for free. There's a cost involved. There's cost of warehousing, there's cost of inventory holding, and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to say Amazon is bad, right? I'm saying there's a lot of hidden costs, and by the time you add up the cost, it's 30%. You sell $100 product, it costs you $30 to sell. I mean, that's pretty much what is going to cost you as well if you did acquisition. The difference is that one gives you revenues without data, which is Amazon. But Shopify, if you had your own Shopify store, all the data is yours. Your prospect data is yours. Your customer data is yours. So which channel has a long-term potential for, remember, CC and LTV? Let's go back to your fundamentals, my friend. What gives you the potential to grow LTV? Customer data. Without customer data, you cannot influence customer experience. You cannot influence second sale. You cannot influence retention. Next one by Linda, right? We run a tour agency and we do Facebook advertising and we have a website. Due to the current pandemic, what do you think we should focus on in order to survive? Well, Linda, let me just review to you. I did train a whole group of tour company. So your name's not familiar, so it's probably your competitor. One of the top 3, top 5 tour agencies in Singapore. And this was early COVID, February, I believe, February, March. They really decided to digitalize, and everybody came, right? The whole 25 of them, and I covered social media marketing. And you know, the same thing over here, that your biggest value of attending this session is me telling you that Facebook ads itself today doesn't really work if you're not doing any retargeting, if you don't have a CRM, if you don't have a system in place, you're not going to be able to execute multi-touch marketing, which is important because people need more than one exposure to make a decision. And if you're not having a strategy to attract, convert, and retain, and you just focus on awareness, as I already said, you're going to be throwing money down the drain. So when it comes to tour agency, if you just run an ad to promote a campaign and you hope to convert on me for some future tour, or whatever the case is, you will realize that your conversion rate is going to be low. More people are going to reject rather than accept, and your campaign will more often than not become unprofitable. So please don't take this approach. If you've been advised wrongly and you need more help, please contact Lytton or contact me, because you need a plan in place, my friend. It's not just about running a Facebook ad and making an offer. Okay, people are so confused today. People are so afraid today, so afraid to spend. It's going to take a lot more than that. You want to be on top of mind, and you want to extract an email address as soon as you can, because once you have their email address, sending them emails is fairly low cost itself. So if I were you, I would really be focusing on attracting and acquiring their email data first, and then nurturing them via email, because that's a far less expensive approach from a long-term basis. And I'm doing that, frankly, I'm doing that with all the businesses that I'm using Facebook ads to run. Data acquisition is the primary KPI at this point in time. Next, by Bobby, right? My company used to run on a purely B2B business model. Due to COVID, our sales have dropped by 95%. Sorry to hear this, Bobby. Where do we even begin to start doing up a B2C model? Lazada, Shopee. Well, if you are B2B, now, you know, moving from B2B to B2C is called a pivot. It's a very serious evolution. And I'm not sure, I mean, I don't know your business, obviously, but let's start with B2B first, right? Let's look at the hygiene aspects. How well optimized is your website? I mean, you probably have a website. I hope so. How well optimized is it in terms of search engine optimization? That's the first place that I would focus on, because it takes an experienced practitioner like me, for example, or you coming from my class, learning SEO and applying on your own. I mean, my point is that it can be implemented fairly low cost if you're willing to DIY, right? Do it yourself, obviously. I mean, I can teach you how to do it and you do it yourself. And if it's your own effort, then it's low cost or no cost, so to speak. That's time, right? Isn't it? That's the first thing I would do, is to do an audit on your SEO visibility. And if you're not doing a good job over there, because you're telling me business dropped by 95%, I'm going to assume that your SEO wasn't effective. Because I can tell you this, I have friends who are doing B2B, B2C with amazing SEO that they've done, and they're tiding through COVID, not like making a lot of money, but they're tiding through. Every business will get affected, but not to the point of 95%. I can assure you that as well. So look at your SEO itself for sure. And, even from a B2B perspective, if you're willing to transform into B2C, sure. I mean, Lazada and Shopee are the two, along with Carousel, by the way, right? Get the cheapest free. I won't say Lazada's not free, by the way. Shopee is free. Okay. Get the easiest way to kind of expose your products or services to the B2C market itself. So I wouldn't hesitate, nothing to lose at this point in time. These are free channels. In fact, those of you who are doing B2C as well should leverage the Shopee of the world, the Adas, the what else? The Carousel, the Q10 even. I mean, these are all marketplaces. You got nothing to lose. Take some effort to open an account with them. Just go list, no problem, right? Let's go and list listings. Your B2B, Amazon as well, Amazon SG is something you can look at even. So that's what I would do if I were you, okay? We know we need to do whatever we need to survive, right? Next one. What do I think is the major factor for Amazon's failure in Singapore despite its success in US and India? I wouldn't say it's a failure. I would say that Singapore is a very small market. I mean, 5.5 million. And if you take away, the under 18s, it gets even smaller, right? So very small market. Retail is so accessible. I mean, look at here. Singapore's a retail paradise. How many shopping malls do you have in your neighborhood? Every neighborhood has a major shopping mall. There's a whole Orchard Belt. There's a whole Marina Belt. So people have choices to shop online. It's only during COVID that retail is closed and you are forced to shop online, right? So It's basically Singapore's deserty in terms of retail, F&B, all the same thing. So high def rate, very tight margins because intense competition. And this is known as the red ocean. I'm not saying you cannot do retail, you cannot do F&B. You had better be a blue ocean guy or girl. So blue ocean means that you have a unique value proposition, a sustainable competitive advantage. There has to be a reason why you're doing something, my friend. If I chose to partner with Chen Fuqi, there's a reason. In fact, the reason is not even um, how delicious your crab is. The reason is that we have extremely low pricing for the cost of crab. Did I just give you my lobang, right? I leaked to you why I got into the crab business, because I have connections where the cost of crab supply under normal circumstances is far lower than wholesale price in Singapore. It gives us a huge competitive advantage because it's an advantage that competitors cannot so easily gain. And that's why I'm doing the crab business. Next, by Sui Heng. I've been receiving so many ads on drop shipping and webinars on how to be an Amazon millionaire with 800 attendees. Is it really that successful? Let me tell you this, right? And I'm going to tell you the truth. Everyone who runs an ad, including me, right, have a self-serving intention. I mean, if I'm going to, obviously, I have a motive. Number two, if these people run ads, I expect them to tell you that, hey, check out my drop shipping course or check out my drop shipping webinar. It's damn difficult because drop shipping is one of the most difficult models. Would he tell you it's difficult? Of course, they're not going to tell you it's difficult, right? They're going to show you success stories. They're going to tell you how successful they are because these people are truly successful. But let me tell you this, right? I know everybody in the industry who's good at drop shipping, who's good at Amazon, and these people are really good at what they do. But these people are the 0.1%. So they themselves are really good in these things. The problem is that they want you to believe, the 0.1% want you to believe that you can also become the 0.1%. That's where the problem comes, because it's a disconnect. It's a disconnect when you sell lifestyle and you say you're just one product away from success or from becoming successful. Let me ask you, what's the difference between being one product away from being successful and being one number away from hitting Toto? What's the difference? One product, one number, same, right? That one in a million, that one in 100,000. Friends, do business based on probability. That's the truth. Would you ride with me on an airplane? I'm a licensed pilot, by the way, and a very good and safe one. If I told you you had a 0.1% chance that we will land safely, would you ever ride with me on an airplane? You wouldn't. Now, if that's true, risk in business. In business, you want to do 100% probability of success, then you go into it, not 0.1. So there is a disconnect from a mathematical perspective, where the 0.1 who genuinely have the skills want to sell you that it is easy to do when it's not easy, obviously. Let me tell you this, right? If whether drop shipping or Amazon, if it was so easy to pick that winner, trust me, they wouldn't have time to talk to you and to teach you all this skill set. They'd just be doing it day in, day out. Number two, thousands in Singapore have gone through Amazon and drop shipping training. Let me ask very clearly, where are the success stories? Where? Why are they so low key and quiet? Well, I'm not saying there are no success stories. I'm saying there are very few success stories, because the probability of becoming a success story is probably a 1 to 5% chance for this kind of business models, because there's a lot of work involved, researching the market, understanding what people want, sourcing for the right product, and having almost ninja level skill sets on Facebook ads, retargeting. You really have to be really, really good in many, many things to succeed in dropshipping and Amazon. Is it a beginner model? Absolutely not. I can tell you right now. And you can tell them, Fabian Lim, that dropshipping and Amazon marketing, it is not beginner marketing. You can quote me anytime. I will defend myself. Next one. Have I heard of Peng Joon? What makes him so successful in getting signups when his courses are so expensive? What makes your course different? Let me tell you about Peng Joon, right? Again, I'm not here to blackmouth everybody except myself, right? Peng Joon is a platform speaker. He has spent almost 10 years with Success Resources, traveling all over the world, teaching people digital marketing. If you want to know, before Peng Joon, actually it was me. I was the godfather, pre-Peng Joon, who worked with Success Resources in the early years. Long story short, we chose to go different routes because I had different value system. That's all I will say. But for sure, right? Peng Joon, as a trainer and having a global platform, would have made millions of dollars from training alone. Let me tell you, when you make millions of dollars, you have a lot of options out there. You can afford to fail. You can afford to experiment. You can afford to buy inventory. You can afford to do a lot of things when you accumulated millions of dollars. Now, how is my course different? Well, firstly, I'm not Peng Joon. Number two, my course is in Singapore. It is to benefit primarily Singaporeans 40 and above because it's 90% funding. And I decided a long time ago that yes, I could teach you opportunistic marketing, how to be affiliate, how to do this. I've done dropshipping before as well. But I decided to go more straight and more narrow because I believe in not hyping you up because you're going to come for the wrong reason and you will drop out from my class anyway if you came for the wrong reason. Learned with a lot of restraint to separate lifestyle marketing from factual marketing, which means having the deep dive skills. So the difference is that I have real world skills that I teach my students to apply real world techniques. And I should have shown you a slide, a Shopify slide, to prove to you I know what I'm talking about. Because recently, at least, I cannot give you the company name. I work with an e-commerce partner and I 5x their online revenues from X to 5x within 30 days. And I didn't spend a single cent on advertising because they had a customer list already. And that's why I'm telling you how important that customer list is. Customer list means email of customers. They have 15,000 customers. That's all I needed with a proper Shopify website to lift their revenues 500%. Now, did they benefit from COVID? Well, they did benefit from COVID for sure. I'm not gonna lie to you, but 500%, come on, it's more than luck. So, next one, would you still be giving us mentorship after the course if you have any questions? Well, look at it this way, my friends, right? I'm at the stage where I'm about to move into the investment quadrant, the I quadrant, because I spent way too many years in the B quadrant, business quadrant, and that includes education. And look here, right? I'm not here to make your money as a student. In my world, and you can, I have lots of people who are my students, but when you graduate, we do business together. We profit share, we revenue share. You got lobang, you share with me, I got lobang, share with you. We want to be building a community because look here, 9 months is a lot of time to spend, a lot of transfer of knowledge. And I train the best digital practitioners in Singapore, Malaysia, JB, Batam, I want to retain you as far as possible. If you're a business owner, I want to do business with you. And of course, right? So, I'm here to build a community. I already do have a community, by the way. I have 900 people in my Telegram group. Obviously, half of them are sleeping for sure, but I put together 900 strong community in the last 60 days without a single ad spend. That's the kind of persona I have in the market go out there and Google Fabian Lim, go to fabianlim.com to learn more about me so that I don't have to oversell myself. Now, what is needed to be a digital marketing trainer? Very, very good question, Melvin. I'm going to give you the answer right now. You have to be a practitioner. Okay. So I have mentors, I have trainers, and I insist that they give me real world results because I can tell you this, right? You cannot become a digital marketing trainer theoretically because your students will sniff you out in a heartbeat. You start to bullshit on stuff, there goes your reputation. So the way to become a digital marketing trainer, and I want to give you this facts, by the way, right? It's open secret. If you are not even my trainer, if you're my mentor, all right, I pay you on average about $50 per hour, which is not a whole lot of money, but it's 4 or 5 times that of a Grab driver. Because by the time you can become a mentor of mine, you have acquired and accumulated a certain amount of expertise and experience that I can't just go out there in the real world and put a JobsDB ad and try to recruit. No way, right? Which is why I only work with my own students because I have a certain way of doing things, whether Facebook ads, SEO, and I never pick from outside, always from within. So again, for all of you here, I understand 9 months is a long time, but let me tell you this, right? Now is a great time because that's why I'm spending this 9 months to walk through my batches, 1 or 2 diploma batches. And by the time we're done with the diploma, I think we'll be out of phase 3 and everybody should be happy itself. So last question, right? Unless there's any more. Is it possible to target health fitness conscious customers who patronize healthy organic products using digital marketing in Singapore? Is this set of target customers very low in Singapore or the trend changing? Let me give you a disclosure. I am partnering with one of the largest organic food companies in Singapore. What a coincidence you have to ask this question, right? And let me tell you that people who value organic food are not necessarily health fitness conscious either. They could be unhealthy, but also focus on organic food. So the key is that if you're asking me about the organic food business, well, I'm going to tell you it is a huge potential because today normal ingredients, the unorganic ones, right? There's pesticide, there is artificial preservatives, the way they store the products, the kind of fumigation, the chemicals that go onto it is really horrendous. Okay? And they typically do it for preservation of the product itself, whether livestock or even vegetables or even fruits. The company I partner with in the organic food business has an organic quality assurance. So we guarantee you that the products we sell you, right, are untreated, no chemicals, no preservatives, and all those nasty stuff that get coated onto the apple, that the non-organic apple that you're buying. Are there long-term effects? Who knows? But from a organic standpoint of quality assurance and quality control, let me tell you this, right? The 15,000 customers, it is the organic food company that we are working with. Now, what do we think the market size with is? I think the market size is 10%, 500,000. So are we far? Of course we are. 15,000 to 500,000 is a huge gap itself. And let me tell you this, right? At 15,000 customers, the business is really doing, high 7, 8 figures. How much more scope is there to grow? Huge. And that's why I'm doing revenue share with them because it's complicating. And step 1 is Shopify. Step 2 is SEO. Step 3 is email nurturing. Step 4 is some paid acquisition. But long and short of it all, the market is here in Singapore. We are blessed that Singaporeans are generally affluent, but they need to be educated on the benefits of organic food and how the non-organic food are being prepared and being preserved. If they only knew, it's like hot dog. If only you knew how hot dog was made, you probably wouldn't eat a hot dog. But guess what? I eat hot dog anyway because I think it tastes good, right? So, are there any last questions, my friends? Right? If there are no questions, I will let you go. I've answered every single one, and that's my style. I like to answer every single question. So as long as if you've got a question, I've answered. And therefore, if there are no questions, then I want to thank you for your attendance and attention. Think about what I'm extending to you right now. It's something that honestly I don't have to run massive ads because my classes are almost full. It's not a joke. I have people whom have been with me for the longest time, and I'm literally doing word of mouth to share with you, 20, 30 of you guys over here. So we have case studies. What about practical works in the course, right? So practical work in the course, which is the last question before we tune off. We're going to be doing this, right? If you're a business owner, I want you to come for the goal of turning around your business. So whatever we cover, I want you to apply to your business. Okay. So everything that I teach you is tailorable to your own business, and you will use your own business as a case study. That's how I can help you at a much, much lower cost because you're just paying the student rate funded pricing to come versus me being your consultant and advisor. If you're a learner, which means you don't own a business, I want you to go and out there and volunteer to sponsor a company for free. Get the business owner buy-in, hopefully negotiate for a revenue share in the future. Tell him you're a diploma candidate and you're going to be learning digital marketing and you want to be able to apply it in the real world. Learn to work with him. Use small budgets to demonstrate and to practice, but work out a longer term deal with him because 6 to 9 months you get to know him, you get to help him on omni-channel marketing and negotiate a revenue share. That's what I would do if I were you as a learner. If you're a business owner coming with a business, I want to say one thing before I go, right? That, you should be able to distinguish by my answers, my level of experience, whether I'm a bullshitter, okay, or I'm just here smoking you out, or actually I know my shit, right? And I think all of you should agree I know my shit based on the kind of random questions you guys are asking me, and I'm answering every single one of these questions. It's up to you to decide. If you think I'm bullshit, of course, don't come, right? Go find someone else, okay? But the real that you will see my Kung Fu come out is in class when I get even more random questions, more scenarios. And let me tell you this, I'm so proud of myself. Sorry to toot my own horn, that I tell you this. There's no question you can ask me on digital marketing that I cannot answer because that's my depth of knowledge goes beyond the depth of questions you can answer me. I'm not saying this to boast, but telling you that I'm really a deep dive in this area. This is my space. I've been doing this for 18 freaking years, my friends, right? I'm not smart. I'm telling you, if you were like me, who spent 100% doing this stuff for 18 years, you would also have my depth of knowledge. It's not rocket science. I took a long time to get to this stage, to be honest with you, right? So that's it, my friends. Thank you for attending my session. If you are interested, please get to Lytton. If you want to know more on me, please go to fabianlim.com. If not, I want to thank you for attending. Lytton may come back to you for a survey. Please use the survey to give the feedback as well. I appreciate all honest feedback, all criticisms as well. Okay. If not, you stay safe in COVID. But please, before you go, please promise me you make the best out of the next 6 or 9 months, whether with me or someone else. Please focus on problem solving. Please focus on revenue lift. If you've forgotten everything, please remember, every single one of you here, your new role in life, in business, is CRO, new officer. I hope to see you in class. If not, I'm going to wish you all the best. Thank you very much, everybody. And good afternoon. I'm going for my lunch right now. Thank you.